message meets you in the right frame of mind. Okay, because today we want to have a very lovely discussion about Neville Goddard secret code. And when I reveal this secret code language to you, you would realize that this whole entire life on this planet, it's a game. And you have to learn to play the game. Okay? I'm just waiting for the wind to calm down just a little bit as I continue. Okay? You see, the English language is actually a coded language. And as a melanated person, this is not really original language. Okay? That is why, if you're not careful, that language could be used to keep you enslaved and to keep you trapped in the matrix. So basically, I'm going to discuss with you how to really play the game and how to understand the code that many of these men have been using because they were trained by their brotherhoods to use codes to keep a people trapped, to keep a people enslaved, and a people being kept void of learning and understanding the game called life. Okay? Now, the code that Neville has used is where he used Abdullah. That's the code. Abdullah is the code, and I'm going to explain it for you, and I'm going to simplify it for you as a melanated person, and why you mustn't fall for the bait. It's a bait, and if you get hooked by the bait, then you will live your life on this planet not being free. You might be able to manifest your reality. You might be able to generate money. You might be able to generate other things in your life. You might be able to put the things that Neville said to work and get results in your life. But yet, you're not free. Because if you gain this world and you lose yourself or lose your soul, what shall it profit you? Okay? I'm going to show you how Abdullah is the code that Neville Goddard used. Okay? And how it's a lie. And this lie, once you get trapped in this lie, it will keep you a slave. You see, the word ab, it means a slave or a servant. And because your head and the rest of your body represent the game of servant and master. In other words, mind is the master and the physical body is actually the slave. So you can never escape the game of master and slave. Doesn't matter what you do. As long as you have this human experience on this planet, in this three-dimensional physical world, which is actually a simulation, which is not real as you really think it is. As long as you live in this realm, you'll always play the game of master and slave. You always play the game of Moses and Pharaoh. Yeah, that's why Moses meant to be born. Had to be taken out of the water. That's why you had to experience an exodus to come here. And your mother water bag had to bust. And also your mother had to get struck with a rod. Then how Red Sea stopped for you to have this human experience, to have the exodus to bring you over here. And you always have to face your circumstances in life. The king pharaohs that would rule over you. So you have to understand the code of language to know that everything is symbolic. And those who control the media will do everything in their power for the masses not to get this message, for this message not to be circulated to the masses. Because to be honest with you, Neville Goddard is their Trojan horse to the city of Troy. Everything hangs around him. I am telling you. If you want to understand the code of servant and master and how he used Abdullah as the code, and people think he's a man who mentored him, you will realize, as I said, and I will repeat it again, he's the Trojan horse to their Troy. You see, if you really understand that Neville Goddard is the Trojan horse to their Troy, you'll be able to destroy their Troy. You'll be able to penetrate their Troy. Because he's playing the part of you. And so, to distract you, because they already studied you, they know you're going to feel good. Thinking that he's putting a man that look like you in a high place. It's the other way around. You see, they've been playing this game for so long. And they've been using the code for so long that only if you're willing to use reverse psychology, you'll understand the game that he's playing. You see, the mystery of who you are as a melanated person, it will always take you all the way back to ancient Mesopotamia, Nile Valley, all the way back to Ethiopia, all the way back to the Sphinx and so on. And so he had to put something together to shift you to play the game of the master. That's why he turned around and says that in the act of awakening, he is God. So when you believe that an awakened Neville Goddard is God, you have to believe that his servant, because Abdullah, is speaking of servant, would always be the black man or the melanated man. And their plantation is right here in my country. They have planted their plantation starting from Barbados and throughout the islands. They set up their plantation and they've been running their plantation very successfully. Okay? So if you do not understand that Neville came from a background whereby his lineage was slave masters, they understood the metaphysical interpretation of the Bible, the esoteric interpretation of it, the psychological interpretation of it, and they had access to books that were stolen, relics that were stolen, and knowledge. Okay, that's why he sounds as if he's so accurate concerning the experiences that he's speaking about. But it is basically the experiences of a self-realized, self-actualized, awakened, melanated man. And so he's trying to play that part. But in order for you not to detect him playing that part because of stolen identity, he have to give you a fake character called Abdullah. And that is why if you get my book called The Black Mystic from Ethiopia, you'd realize long time ago I knew what they were doing, and I play along with them in the game until I feel it was the right time to show you the code that he's using. That's why he referred to the code as the ace, a spade. You see, out of the darkness comes the light. He's their ace. That's why Joe Dispenza, Bruce Lipton, Tony Robbins, Mel Robbins, you name it, all of these so-called self-help and self-improvement people and so on, all of these people, Wallace Wattles, all of these people, man, James Allen, you name it, I could name all of them. They're all over on the internet. Once you find the Trojan horse, which is Neville Goddard, and you decode him and his lies, because, for example, right, they know that no one in the continent of America would be able to decode Neville Goddard. They play the game not knowing in a Caribbean island, one would be able to decode and expose their plan and show you why he's using that code. Okay, because what happened? It is you who would awake to find your God self and know that you are not a servant. You're not a servant of God, you are God. So when you really check out the code Abdullah, because that's the code he's using, okay, it represents a servant of God. So he's sending a secret language saying that you would always be his servant. And as I show you that they have already businesses and the buildings set up in my country as their plantation, that's their plantation in a systematic way. And his conversation is a conversation that is basically teaching you the secret code of master and slave. This is the master. The mind is the master. So if he could master your mind by giving you a fake character called Abdullah and tell you that Abdullah is his mentor, he'll check you. You see, you'll be able to mentor yourself when you awake as a melanated person. You'll be able to know the secret and the bloodline that goes all the way back to Ethiopia, ancient Mesopotamia, all the way back to Egypt, to the pharaohs. You'll be able to understand the secret of the Sphinx and the pyramid, the Olmecs in South America, the hieroglyphs in my country, and all of these things. So it's a secret code. The secret code have to do with your identity. For example, if you think wisely and you listen to Neville Goddard with a clay mind, okay, everything that he's saying about the Bible, who was the one responsible to make people think the other way? When he says that everything is mental, when he says that there's no literal man who exists 2,000 years ago, who taught that? Who forced people to have that belief system? Who forced people to have that belief to set up colonies and to colonize their mind and to set certain rules and laws to continue to keep the people enslaved. Who did that? You chase it all the way back to Neville's ancestors. Neville Goddard is actually the key to expose his whole entire ancestry. That is why they're against me doing what I'm doing, because I will destroy his legacy. They're trying to build a legacy around a liar. They're trying to build a legacy around the son of a slave master from the plantation. So to keep any plantation mentality, you think that Neville brings some new knowledge to you when this knowledge is already in your DNA. That's why Neville Goddard never mentioned anything about the eye. He can't speak about the eye that would open within you. Because he is narrating to you what was written in a book that was given to him. And that is why if you do your research for yourself and you research Margaret Ruth Broom, you see where Margaret Ruth Broom, when she first had the first Wikipedia of Neville Goddard, which they remove. Okay, and if they don't move it after what I'm saying here, you'll find it on freenevillegoddard.com. And you see the brotherhood that he was a part of. And these brotherhoods refer to themselves as the Great White Brotherhood, which is a lie. I just switch it around and look at yourself and look at the earth, which brings survival to all of humanity. And you will get the story for yourself. You'll understand how divine you are and how there has never been and will never be. Because common sense will teach you to. Why would a black man who's a mystic from Ethiopia, why would he have access to the Kabbalah when the Kabbalah is actually downloaded within you? And they put a book together to shift you from the real Kabbalah. The chair life is you. Everything in the Kabbalah is you. Okay, so come and say, teach you, why would a melanated man in time of a Great Depression, why he would choose to teach the son of X, and still is, not even X, sorry, of slave master and be the mentor? That is why if you read my book, I use reverse psychology. So I take it, I show you if he's speaking a lie, if he's speaking truth, how still the message of symbology will show you that Abdullah, if there was a man named Abdullah, which I know there isn't, you okay? It's a state of mind, and that state of mind is a slave. It's a slave mind. Okay? That's why melanated people in the church system that's called themselves servant of God. You know no servant and no God. You're God. You're no servant. Okay? You're always the master. You never call yourself a servant. Leave the idiots to call themselves servant of God and man of God. No, you're God, man. You're God first. And man here in expression, having this experience. So everything is the other way around. So these idiots in churches call themselves man of God. No, you're no man of God. And then these black women who are void of understanding say they're looking for man of God. A God-fearing man. There's no such a thing as a God-fearing man. That's an idiotic man. A God-loving man. Which is a man who loves himself. Because he finds his God self, his invisible self. So, any melanated person who's listening to Neville Goddard and accepting the fact that Neville Goddard is saying that in the act of awakening, that he's God, and you're not accepting me, okay, as being God in the act of awakening and dissolving what he says about Abdullah. Abdullah mean a servant. Abdullah mean a slave. And he being God. We said the black man will always be slave to the pale man. That's never got a conversation because he came from the plantation. He came from a brotherhood that's built on that kind of conversation. All the brotherhoods around the world that melanated people are part of. Okay, you could chase it all the way back to the plantation where you had the horse slaves. What I am doing here has always been happening. There's nothing under the sun. There have always been those of us who's free and who's willing to put our lives on the line to help our brothers and sisters to wake up. It has always been and will always be. And there will always be those who are willing to sell themselves for a penny. That's why they will allow them to have as much views as possible. And YouTube and so on, and they give them that promise because they came to me with that promise too. And I refused that too. Okay? So I know what I am saying. Why would they want to approach me and offer me certain privilege on the internet when I never asked them for it? Why they wanted to give me certain address to reach out to certain person and to address them as Lord Master. I'm gonna address nobody to no Lord and no Master. I am the Master. So I know what I'm speaking about. So I'm telling you, Neville Goddard, the code that he's using is the Abdullah code. Because he's blocking you from the power of your melanin. I'm gonna do another live on my next channel on that. He's blocking you from the code by stealing the code of melanin to spread a false narrative. So you will say he's a great philosopher. You will say he's a great mystic. No, that's not true. They're not mystics. He's a lion. And I will not back down from exposing the lies. Okay? That's why when I remove the name Abdullah Neville Goddard from the channel, you see they put back, you know, the manifesting axis. Go check out that channel, you go see. They went so far, they use an AI of a black man they call Abdullah. And I think it's a picture of a man named Ford. You see how desperate they are? You see how desperate they are? You see how desperate they are? And I go check my channel and see the proofs. And when the title subdue or suppress the opening of my channel to the masses, to the pop masses to see and to hear, after I start to expose Neville Goddard, and I will continue and I will never stop exposing Neville Goddard, doesn't matter what they do. And the people in my country will get to know the truth, and the people all around the world will get to know the truth. Because you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. So I'm saying, and I'll say it again, when you realize that Neville Goddard is their Trojan horse to their joy, you know how long they've been ruling? You know how long they've been lying? You know why the Goddards is one of the ruling class and the biggest ruling class in my country? You see, people in America ain't know nothing about the Goddards. Let me wait for the wind, man. Woo! The wind blowing hard. When you experience yourself like this wind here, is how the wind blowing? The day gonna come when you experience yourself as that too. And the fire too. And the earth too, the earth will quake. And your ancestor gonna come forth and you see your ancestor and you realize he look just like you. And you understand the code they're using. Why they always use a pale man as the code to be your Messiah and your Savior. And they're stealing your energy. And they want you to play the part of the victim when you're actually the victor. You are the conscious creator. That is why I'm saying to you, Neville, the thing that he spoke about, he knows that you will get results because thoughts become things. That is universal. We become what we think about most of the time. That's universal. There's nothing mystical about that. But when it comes to unfolding the real virgin birth, the real resurrection, when it comes to understand language, and playing the game of life, of master and slave. If you would unfold that, you wouldn't understand their polarity. You'll have hatred, you have envy, you'll have all of those things. No, you can't have those things against anyone. You could expose them, okay, but don't give your energy to them. Don't hate them. Because that's just how the game is. It's a master and slave. Master and slave. Mind and body. The mind would always be the master. They don't care as long as they remain the master, as long as they continue in rulership. They don't care. They will pay you any amount of money. Because money is not the real value. When you value yourself to paper or to money, you're doing a disservice to your dignity, a disservice to your divinity, you're doing a disservice to your ancestors. There's only two bloodlines. There's only two bloodlines. One of the foolish and one of the wise. One of the master and one of the slave. Somebody have to clean the street. Somebody have to do janitorial work. But it don't have to be you. But somebody have to do it. Somebody have to be the servant in somebody's home. But it don't have to be you. When you look at television in the early say 70s and 60s, and you see a melanated person, was always someone working in the house or in the kitchen of a wealthy white person. And then when melanated people start to get money, they start to build like a swimming pool in their backyard and get a servant too, just like what they see those people do. But that was always the life that you were supposed to live, being the master and not really the slave. So they enslave you, forcefully bring trauma upon you, and because through genetic manipulation, and your DNA could easily be manipulated and reprogrammed, all of that took place. That's why people still up to this, they're talking about Jesus. That's why right now as I'm speaking to you, churches are filled. And it continues up to this day. So, people in America, Canada, and all of these people who talk about Neville Goddard and Joseph Murphy, you making me laugh. They ain't bring nothing new. They ain't bring nothing that you don't have in you. That is why, when I hit the internet, having had my experience before, everything was just bringing a confirmation to my experience. You bring any book. You bring any bestseller. I could decode every living one of them and show you. It run all the way back to the Bible and what the Bible is all about. That's why they use that to keep melanated people enslaved. How they interpret it to you. That's why they're speaking another language. When Bob Proctor and them speak, they were speaking another language. You hear them speaking English language, but they're using a code. Language itself is a code. It's a spell code. So they want to get you under this Neville Goddard spell as a melanated person to believe that there was some melanated man who meant a Neville Goddard. This is not true. And look, let me give them the benefit of the doubt. Let's say it was true, right? Why this melanated man was part of this brotherhood that didn't start, you understand, from melanated people. And why with this melanated man would tell Neville Goddard he was waiting for him. It don't make no sense. Then, listen again. Neville Goddard states that in 1920 to 1922, his brother hold a thought in his mind and visualize for 2 long years. Use your common sense, right? Could any man visualize for 2 long years without the knowledge of how the mind works? Let me just wait for the wave to calm down a little bit. Could any man focus and visualize and see their family name and a building when their family name was not on the building without prior knowledge of alchemy and prior knowledge of how the mind works and prior knowledge of meditation and visualization and esoteric knowledge? Man, people need to use their common sense. So you could take all the Neville Goddard words and all the Neville Goddard story and see that this man is not true. That his family have always had the knowledge and they hid him from the Caribbean because he was supposed to come to do a work to bring the Trojan horse to their Troy. So they tried to hide him. So when he leave to go to America, if you look at the symbology, he was beaten badly. For what? Interpretation of the Bible. And I'm whipping his ass right now for that too. You see the symbology? And the man who beat Neville Goddard unmercifully, Neville Goddard claimed that the man took his own life. You know right now, I am killing myself, my ego self, my lower self, the self that they want to keep you in, which most melanated people kept themselves in that state. And you have to kill that self that keeping you as a victim and keeping you as a loser instead of a winner. That self that is keeping you from being a master or from being the lender and not the borrower. To be above and not beneath. So people listen to Neville and they can't read between the lines. They can't get the symbology. That's why all of the Caucasian people who went and purchased my book, The Black Mystic from Ethiopia, you know what they was looking for? He was looking for a stupid black man to think and believe that their son and their ancestor, who claimed that he was a philosopher way back in China 1,000 years ago, and people don't realize the states of mind he really talking about. And he talking about the enlightened man. And he trying to tell you, to block you and to distract you, that the enlightened man, you understand, is his ancestor, but he go higher. Not ancestor, is his mentor, but he went higher. So he tell you that Abdullah knew about the law, but he didn't know anything about the promise. It's a lie. It's the other way around. It is very hard for them to experience the promise, but they could easily operate in the law. You know how easy it is for a melanated person to transcend? You know how easy it is? Yet it's the hardest thing for melanated people because they still, when you talk in consciousness, they're talking about amen. And they think amen means so be it. And it's because they know nothing about amen and so on. And all the things that pass down from the parents to the church system and the misinterpretation of the Bible. When people hear Neville, they think, oh, there's a man coming here to save we. If we really tell us how the Bible is supposed to be understood, now the man playing a game. That is why. Check out. But look, check out the history of all these men down to the ages. Go back to all these writers. Scoville, Shin, all of them. Okay? Chase all of these writers. You see, they never incorporate a black man until Neville. Because he's the Trojan horse. They don't want, he died the Trojan horse to the Troy. That the Trojan horse to the Troy. You know how much people on YouTube try to Neville Goddard teaching and they put it a different way? Because I would them hiding that all the time. But to keep it make you feel good. Oh, Abdullah. Which Abdullah? No. Yeah, you know what I laughing so much? Is when I removed the name Abdullah Neville Goddard from this channel, I changed the name. They went and find somebody. The channel name was Manifesting Access, and another one. Go see how much views them I get with an AI black man named Abdullah. With a tower up on the head. They have to do it. They have to. Because never got the damn Trojan horse to their joy. That's their Trojan horse to their joy. They have to do all in their power to make sure these views now go out to the masses and the people have no. But all I just need is one person who will go around and show people this thing about Neville Goddard. Margaret Rootbroom tell you which brotherhood Neville Goddard was a part of. Because they didn't realize that the internet would have become like this. So when I do find it, all like 2014, 2013, you're gonna find Neville Goddard real Wikipedia before they remove it. You know, a lot of people listen to Neville Goddard and they never know Neville Goddard Wikipedia was removed, you know, and they put back the Wikipedia there, you know. Yeah. And somebody listening to me right now is a spy. I know he's a spy. Think I'm stupid? I know what I'm talking about. So Neville Goddard is their Trojan horse to their joy. So if you know if you watch the movie, a Troy, that's the Trojan horse. But I switch it around. I give you the fake Abdullah. Tell you about some man from Ethiopia. No. Because they know a man will come and understand his Ethiopian heritage. A man will come and understand his Ethiopian bloodline. A man will come and understand who he is. These people are keepers of time. They are astrologers, all kind of thing. You know, all of these presidents and so on, they have astrologers to them and all that, you know. Because remember, as I tell you, time ain't real, it's a simulation, but the study cycles. Up to this day, melanated people can realize that whenever you say the word Jesus Christ is a code to your physical and non-physical self, and you think it's some man thousands of years ago and talk a bunch of shit. And you have so much a different division, people calling themselves all different kind of name. Some call themselves Hebrew Israelite. Some people say, oh, his name was Yahshua. Some say his name was Yahweh. All kind of name. It's a code. Your visible self and your invisible self. And when you discover your Christ self, who could stop you? Can't stop you. Not even death could stop you. Because you're eternal. The consciousness will keep coming and coming and you get stronger and stronger. Yeah, the consciousness will keep coming and coming and coming and coming and coming. So they have to release Neville Goddard. Why do you think Neville Goddard used to go by the place in California, we call it Ebel Theater. Try to remember the next name. And all of these new thought leaders and so on. Used to always be at this Ebel Theater. I think it's somewhere in California, Los Angeles, one of those places. It is. Babes, you can remember the full name? With the Ebel Theater where Neville used to go? Okay. I try to remember the other name. You understand? If anybody in the chat can remember the name, you could give me the name. Okay, it's not here alone used to gather, plenty of them. There's a reason why there's a certain location they used to gather. Okay? So the whole thing I have with Neville Goddard is the inclusion of Abdullah, the slave. Okay? So you believe there's such a thing as a servant of God, and you remain the servant of God, and they keep you being a servant, and you understand how to play the game. that is why you have man saying, oh, they could talk about ancient Mesopotamia and talk about Anunnaki and talk about all of this, but they can't talk them things like talking. No, because they don't sell themselves. You don't even want to call the name. They sell themselves. When I look at so much billionaires and the internet and know how they did reach out to me and offer me certain things where they offer me, and I see they getting it. Why and I hear what they're saying. I know they sell themselves. As I said before, in I think it was in another life. When I listen to an interview, I instead of listening all, I just listen piece. Okay. I just wanted to know where Kevin Hart and them background and so on. So when I see him and CEO of a diary of a CEO, okay, I just listen a little piece. When I hear you talk about background, I say I know they know how they choose these kind of people. That they could bring them to a place I even put on dress and they could emasculate them and so on. I know since I was a boy growing up. I always stand on principle. I always stand on business. I was never the man who willing to sell himself short for money. Never. All of these material things that the world never used to impress me. What I used to be seeking for is to know who am I? I'm a little boy. Most children, when they grow up, then I will be asking themselves, who am I? No, that's why I think they have career in school. That the children them just in like some just in like pilots, some just in like doctors, some just in like this, some just in like that. So they done shaping their mind what they want to become in this world. Another worker, and they make sure they put them in these schools down here and call it career day. I've never seen anyone dress up and say in a sort and say I want to be a mystic. I want to find me mystical self. Because you're not trained to think that way. Okay? So I know I tell you about Neville Goddard, Jed. I know exactly what I tell you about Neville Goddard. Abdullah is the code he used. The code, a master and slave. They playing the role. And you playing your role too. They taking the script as God and master. Don't make nobody fool you, bro. So don't buy into this Abdullah thing. It's a lie. I am telling you, go and check out this channel, when it started, and go check out Manifesting Axis and the other different channel, AI channels where they make. After I remove the name Abdullah Neville Goddard, because they realized I was playing a game with them long time. Since from the book, when I wrote the book, the Black Minister from Ethiopia Neville Goddard mentor, they realized I was playing with them. When they say, oh, this man has no vibration, he has no frequency. I never enslaved nobody. I never raped nobody. I never performed breaking on anybody. I never hung anybody. I never burned down anybody economy. I'm talking about Tulsa, Oklahoma. I know what you did last summer. I still know what you did last summer. I still know what you did in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So people in America need to wake up. Thinking some man from Ethiopia thought Neville Goddard, I meant to Neville Goddard. Man, wake up on the foolishness, man. Stop believe that. Join with me and expose the man. Expose the liar. And I have all of the buildings and the businesses right in my country here. So that nobody in America would be able to really expose Neville Goddard. Because his family established itself in the islands. And there wasn't looking for people from the islands to wake up. Because people in the islands are strong coma. In a strong coma, fast asleep. Yeah. So my brother, my sisters, time and time again, I'll show you, man, how much Neville Goddard is a liar. Don't believe the lie. Don't fall for the lie. Let me just read these comments and I'm definitely going to come to a close. I don't want to go too long. Someone say Grand Rising family. Someone say Grand Rising. Someone say tricksters. Of course, he's a trickster. Okay. Who or what does daughter of Zion mean? That's a different conversation. Okay? My Zion is here. This is where my Zion is. Okay? My higher place of consciousness. Me no know other Zion. I don't know outside Zion. It's inside of me. Okay? Somebody say, yes, you are. Okay, somebody say, if you like Neville Goddard, you're going to love Joel Goldsmith. You're welcome. Joel Goldsmith, Neville Goddard, all of them cut from the same cloth. That's why I tell you, Neville Goddard is actually the Trojan horse. The Trojan horse. Okay? To get to their joy. Okay? And realize the lies that they've been telling. All of these people they're putting up. Okay? When you listen to them, they want you to get into ancestral worship. Worship the ancestors. They want you to put hope in the ancestors. They don't want you to believe in your ancestors. Okay? That's why I make sure I print certain big pictures of myself. Have them stick up all over my house and so on. And anybody who wants these big pictures. People have pictures. Yeah, you have to have a picture of Marcus Garvey in your house. You have to have a picture of Malcolm X and these kind of people in your house. Carry certain kind of energy. Don't make them fool. You don't want to have no pale man in your house called Jesus. My grandmother had that. Don't wonder why they were so poverty stricken. They was at the bottom of 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 the barrel. And I used to try to figure out why my grandmother was so poor. Have that idol in the house. How could you be a melanated man and you think your savior is some pale skinned man? And he doesn't look like you. So don't believe the Neville Goddard lies. A code he using. Okay? The code is to block you from your own self. That is why all who making content about Neville is only around the law. Because whether you creating unconsciously or consciously, you are always creating. The law is always in place. The law is always taking place in life. It's just basically cause and effect. Whenever God call the law, it's basically cause and effect. Cause and effect is always taking place. But changing form and becoming alchemy itself is not an everyday occurrence. Becoming one with the wind is not an everyday occurrence. I think was the man name. I think the man was Arthur Bigby, Bugby, something like that. The man who Neville Goddard met in England. That wasn't coincidence. It wasn't no coincidence why Neville was given the name before he born, and why he born in Barbados. Why he born in the island. It wasn't no coincidence when I find the death Richard Goddard. And I put the link in the video to the newspaper in Barbados, where he was stating that they were forfeited from 4 other slaves and from land. Anybody who have common sense would know. Any pale-skinned people you see own a bunch of land in the Caribbean, you trace their generation and you see why it is so. It's that family in my country who own most of the land down so. Where they have the sandals. That family that own the whole land, we have the whole of sandals and plus all the lands down in that area there. Check out that family there in my country. I see the same pale-skinned set of people. My grandmother used to work with them many before I ever even dreamed to born. It's not coincidence why I always from my grandparents, from my grandmother, even my mother, and even my sister, they end up working with certain people, and they didn't ever understand it. Just yesterday I was explaining it to my sister who live in another country. Why the pattern keep happening, and they can unfold the secret to it. They always end up working with some wealthy family. Yeah. Certain things I wouldn't go into, but Neville Goddard is alive. So when you hear they talking about Joel Goldsmith and all them cut from the same cloth. Okay, Carnegie, all of them. They cut from the same cloth. Don't make them fool you. Okay? Someone say a divine relationship with God is blocked by religions. Okay, yes. And who set up the religion that melanated people conform themselves to? Same set of people who trying to act as if they're going to bring enlightenment to you. They can't bring no enlightenment to you. They're liars. And they're just playing their part. Okay? So when I speak, I'm not speaking from a place of anger or a place of playing a victim or anything like that. I just understand the game and understand polarity, and they're playing their polar part. And we have to play our part. That's why I say you have to all use reverse psychology. Don't make nobody fool you. Someone say, oh, are you Muslim? No, I am God. God ain't Muslim, God ain't Christian. I'm a spirit having a human experience. Christian and Muslim and so on, those are brands. Those are brands. You know, like how you have brand name, like Nike and Adidas and so on, them is brand name. Yeah, it's same thing. Muslim, Christian, all of them is brand. Them is brand. But people who don't understand the power of their mind and how their mind works. Okay. This person that they are Muslim. I never refer to myself as Muslim or as Christian. I am divine, 100% divine, and having a human experience. Okay? What do you think about Haile Selassie? There's a lot I think about. Don't ask me what I think about Haile Selassie, what I know. Okay? That would be another subject for another time, is what I know. Okay? That's what I know. Okay, so person who made that comment, keep your eyes out and your ears open. I have something coming. Okay. I have something coming. Okay. I definitely have something. Okay, for you. Okay, so keep tuning in. Okay. So I could go into a lot, but too much for at this time. Okay. That's why a lot of men who call themselves Rastafarian, all they could do is just, when they meet one another, they just say, so that's it. I didn't know shit what they're talking about, bro. I know what I'm talking about. Okay. The level that they are at, we already passed the level. I'll take you to the another level. Okay. I'll take you to the another level. Okay. Someone say God is non-dual, not dualistic. Allah is not white or black, right or wrong. Okay. You see, when you understand it's a communication network, okay, and you understand language, and you understand the words are really spells, you will understand why the most powerful people on this planet, the power come from here, not from nowhere else. You think bombs and guns and so on is what does have a superpower? Nah, superpower come from here, bro. Let me just read these comments because they're going to come to a close. That's why, you know, I removing Neville Goddard's so-called superpower with the lies, talking about Abdullah. Liar. Someone say words are ignorant. They can only point to truth. What happened, right, is that you can't have the truth without the lie, and you can't have the lie without the truth. Okay, I'll leave it. I would leave it at that. Okay, because most people go in church right now, they don't know it's a book of lie they have. Because if I up to yesterday I was speaking to someone, I asked them, would you say that the Bible is a book of faith? They say yes. I say, well, you define faith for me. They define faith. I said, but if I tell you it's a book of lies, you understand, you wouldn't believe me. But it is a lie. And you have to cast a spell on the lie, okay, to transmute it into the truth. When it becomes a hard and objective fact, then you realize that the faith is action, okay, and it's not something blind, okay, and you would realize why you must call those things that be not as though they are. Someone say, I have not fully read the Bible, but audibly heard a voice. Audibly heard a voice say, get up and pray, daughter of Zion. That was happening in your consciousness, okay? You're hearing yourself, okay? I hold to no religion anymore. I had to deconstruct, from the lie. But who is speaking to me? Okay, everything exists in consciousness. That was happening in your consciousness. That's why you had the experience. It took place within. Okay, it's not from outside, so you hear a voice. It's within you hear that voice. Okay. So when you speak about daughter as Zion, speaking about your higher self, okay, telling you you have to rise to a higher place. A higher place in consciousness, a higher place in awareness. Okay, so it wasn't someone on the outside. Someone says respect to you too. Someone say Allah equal arm, leg, arm, head equal star. Okay, everything always goes back to you. Everything always goes all the way back to you. Everything exists in consciousness. Okay, that's why they don't want you to experience yourself as pure consciousness. They don't want you to experience yourself as pure alchemy. They don't want you to experience changing form from mortal to immortality. You're living in a mortal world. Okay? This is the wall of death. They don't want you to ever change and experience the wall of life, to know that you are eternal. Okay? In other words, they never want you to experience your Christ self, which is the invisible self. Someone said the actual name for Allah is Allah. Allah in Aramaic means there is no other, undivided. You see, when it comes to understanding your oneness, when it comes to realize that there's no division, you will come to know that the game we are playing on this planet is the game of master and slave, master and servant. It's still boys back to what I am saying. Okay. And what they did to melanated people is to always have them divided. So in order to rule and to conquer people, you have to have them divided. That's why our people are so divided. Someone say, but I would never even heard of or read this before. Okay, someone else says here, there is only one consciousness here, equal slash awareness. There's only one consciousness awareness. And in this consciousness or awareness, you can play the part of the master or the slave. So Neville Goddard is telling you to play the part of the slave when he used the code of Abdullah. Abdullah is a code. Don't let nobody fool you. You have to read the code. It's a code he's using, the code of master and slave. Go check out the meaning of Abdullah. You can't be a servant of God. Don't let nobody fool you. God is your servant. You know no servant of God. God is your servant. Because a communication network. The network is your servant. They have to obey you. Your subconscious might have to obey you. God is your servant. You know no servant of God. That's why I tell you never God is using a code. I never expose any code. I say I say tune into your inner man. Okay. Right. And the inner man is your real self, your true essence. Okay, so some people could always speak the language, but they never do these things. Because there's no way you as a melanated man could tune in to your inner man and you realize the game that these people are playing on you. Okay, so every time they want to harvest your energy and so on, they do something like the George Floyd thing. And so much billions of people all around the world, millions of them, give the energy to them. It's a game. They give you a Trayvon Martin, tell your people and so on, do all of that. And you get caught up in the simulation and giving away energy and use all the emotion. And they give you Black Lives Matter and all this foolishness. Okay? Is that hour now? Definitely going to read this here and come to a close, right? Somebody say, keep up the great work, brother. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, for realizing that it's a great work I am doing. Okay, and you know they try to subdue the work. Okay, they do everything in their powers. Okay, and they always want to see me, you know, because they always want to hear what I have to say. Okay, someone said I asked leaders in church, and I was always told it was the enemy, and to not listen to every voice I heard. The church don't want you to ever question anything. Okay? It's an offense for you to ever question them because they have their agenda. They have their motive. As I said earlier, okay, the slave trade never ends. Okay? It's just more in a more systematic way. Okay, those are the ones who sold you into slavery and they continue to sell you into slavery. And they will continue to do it. Okay? Someone say religion and politics are tools for the deceivers to keep people divided, of course. And they will continue to use the tool because it works. Okay? Because most people fail to realize that words are spells. And these people, okay, when they get on the podium, they cast spells and you come under their enchantment. And when you come under their enchantment, okay, you come under their command. You think that the politicians and the preachers are begging and seeking of you. No, they're not doing that. They're commanding. But you realize they're commanded. They're casting spells. Okay, someone said, thank you, Josh. I have left the church, but I'm feeling lost. Most people, when they leave the church still inside of them. Okay, because their subconscious mind is still infected. Okay, from the false teachings. Okay. Because remember, as I said, you're not the servant of God, God is a servant. Okay? And so they've been placing certain feelings and impressing your subconscious mind. So when you leave, you're going to feel lost. Okay? Because you leave with no mentor to look to. You leave because of information. In the information age, what they do, they are making people drown themselves in the flood. This is the flood. www.com. The information age is the flood. And you're allowing yourself to get drowned in the flood of information, which is false knowing. They want you to dwell on intellectual knowing. That is why they will promote people on the internet who are feeding you with intellectual knowing. So they quote in this book. Oh, the Macada, can't have called the name. The text, I'm trying to remember the name. Okay, the text. They will quote for you. They'll talk about Elimelech. They will talk about this and that. The Elimelech and this and all of these kind of things. You hear they quote all of these different books for you. Okay. Yeah, they'll tell about trying to remember the name. Okay. So just intellectual knowing. Okay. Be still and know you are not undivided from his presence. Who is this haze you're speaking about? Okay. Religion is welcomed in churches, not those who are tuned into their inner man. God's presence and you're welcome. Okay. But when you're still referring to God as his and he and so on, come as if you're separating yourself. It's all about you. Someone saying here, if Leviathan is a spell. Words are spells in general. Okay? So you have to know what kind of spell that you're casting over yourself. What they do, they have you to cast spell on yourself. That's why most people lack belief in themselves. Okay? They don't believe in their own self. They believe in some Lord or some God or some entity outside themselves. Okay? Someone say, I believe Leviathan is more like narcissism. Okay, so my brother, my sisters, I want to thank you all very much for tuning in. And if you listen to me and you would like to donate any books at all, okay, you can check out a link that I have with a wish list with books on Amazon. I'm trying my best to have a library that people can have access to certain books to read. Okay. And if you can be a part of that, I will definitely appreciate it. Okay. Someone says, let me read this last comment. I am realizing now that when I experience Christ, I believe to be other than me, that it was Jesus. I had so many words coming from my mouth, my mind, a audible voice, and recently written words. I don't quite understand what the person basically trying to say. But all in all, I would say you just have to accept yourself and know that there's no one coming to save you or redeem you. Okay, everything that you'll ever desire in this world, you can find it within yourself. Okay, someone's just up, what's up? I'm good. I have realized that I am God. I am consciousness. Okay. That is not something you really realize, it's something you experience. Okay. And normally a lot of people say they don't realize this and they don't realize that because they make sure in this information age they use information as a weapon against you. Okay, to champion false belief. Okay, they study you. Okay, they really, really, really study you. Okay, so they destroy you with information. Okay, and make you believe that is real knowing. Real knowing is experience. I want you to experience your true self. And when you have that experience, that's it. Okay? You would realize many times why there's a certain set of people you will see that their books is always bestseller, and you see the other systems that accept their book and make it a bestseller and so on. It's all something planned. It's like the Nobel Peace Prize. It's something scripted. See, the woman in Venezuela was willing to sell out her own people. They give she Nobel Peace Prize because a plan. Okay, so yeah, someone say I have had force sing about. I guess they say sign aboard from. Maybe they try to say above, but it's about vision of baby wrapping in swaddling cloth. That's a lie. That's a Neville Goddard lie, but baby wrapped in swaddling cloth. No, no, no. When you have that experience, there will be no baby wrapped in no swaddling cloth. Okay? No, 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 no. There will be a baby, but not wrapped in no swaddling cloth. Okay? So I could go into a lot of things. Okay, don't believe Neville Goddard and the bullshit and things that he talk. Okay? That's why I tell you they make sure they try to suppress my work because I'm exposing Neville Goddard. Okay, Neville Goddard tell a lot of lies. Okay, Neville Goddard family, start part of the club. Okay, that's why Neville Goddard even tell in one of his speech he mentioned the moon landing, which is a damn lie. Okay, so Neville Goddard is not what you think he is. Okay, Neville Goddard ain't no great mystics and no great mystic and philosopher. Just like the many others who they try to tell you they're great mystic and philosopher. They only had access to certain books that was hidden from the masses. But we have the DNA in us, so don't make nobody fool you. Okay. You see, like this person here who got brainwashed from the same Neville thing too. Look what they said. Neville told it force. You see, I know they would have come with all of that. I don't read through these people so much. Sign above from above. You see, and that's why I tell you they had writings. That's why I tell you Neville is a liar. Okay, and when the people come and get the real experience and they start to expose these kind of people, they go say, oh, Neville forces, so it's a game they've been playing all the time. The forces come. Look, even people on the internet who you think are exposing the system, they're part of the system, There's a certain channel, I could tell you the channel, that you'll think this person exposing so much a thing and he playing like he's the Morpheus. You understand? And they're part of the same shit. You understand? So when they fool you, sometimes all these people come and see they come in, they're part of the game. You understand? So you just have to understand. So you can tell, oh, never said positive. No, don't let nobody fool you. Okay, this is so that I want to be like one step ahead of you. Okay, but they can't trick you. Okay, that's what they've been trying. This is so that's why you know they come up with different channels now talking about Abdullah. Okay, because it's a part of the game and the lie. Okay, so she talk about Neville first. Say I've bought from but my ancestors they haven't bought the boat from here so freaking long. Okay, woman keep quiet with the Neville. Let Neville trick you. Okay, with the damn lie, with his damn lie. Okay, then which mentor should I follow if not Neville? Then who? Who you think speaking to you? Who you think speaking to you? Who you think speaking to you? You think I gonna deny who I am? Why don't you go research which brotherhood Neville Goddard was a part of? And why they remove his Wikipedia? Why you think they remove his Wikipedia first? And then they put back in Wikipedia. And when they put back in Wikipedia and the internet, they take out certain part of the biography. And why you think his family run the biggest business in my country? And when I went there and show a picture of your father, no, you can't go up in the building. Only the workers who know the code could go up in the building. You think I just talking? I have facts to back up everything I saying. So if I should tell you who to follow, I tell you follow yourself, follow your heart, follow your intuition. I ain't gonna tell you follow me, I ain't gonna tell you follow nobody else. Listen to your heart, where your heart guide you and lead you. Stop be a follower and listen to your own intuition. Okay? That is why I didn't take the offer when they offer me certain things. I follow my intuition. Someone say hi, can you follow words coming from your mouth on waking if you do not even understand it? I don't understand what this person is saying here either. Honestly, I don't understand what they're talking about. Okay, should I read the Upanishad ads? I have the Upanishad at home. Okay, everything always goes back to your consciousness and your awareness. Okay, everything all goes back to the awakening of your higher self that is within you. That is why, as I always say, when I had my awakening experience, everything I go back on the internet and look at, okay, it was bring confirmation. And the first set of people I started listening to, okay, was a man who looked like me, named Bobby Hemmett. Okay, and everything he was saying was bring confirmation to me. Was he and some others? Okay, and they were bringing confirmation to me. I'm talking about the first, like melanated person and so on that and so on. But then I was listening to so much other people. Okay, but at the time I didn't quite. I wasn't able to put it together. Then after a while I could put it together because I listened to Tony Robbins, all of these people. Okay, and I could put the whole thing together and show you. They're always hiding something from you. Especially if you're a melanated person. So it has nothing to do with which book you read or whatever, what experience you get. Okay? Someone say, I awake with words coming from my own mouth that I do not understand. How is this? Okay? I would have had many experiences too that I didn't understand, but you have to allow yourself to grow and to expand, and then all of these things will be made known to you. Okay? I used to wake up in the morning with a certain intelligence because it's like I used to be in a world where I'm highly intelligent and about like a higher IQ. And when I wake back to like consciousness, I only was able to bring over a certain amount with me. That's why I could unfold the Israeli flag and so on and all of that. That's why when the preacher asked me what it really mean, I just put my hand on my hip. That's why I tell you the Kabbalah is not really a book. It's all about you. Okay. Let me think, because I really wanna close, because I have another life to do. Someone said then remove Neville and Abdullah name from your I already do that. So if you see all our videos and so on, you might still see that name from the older videos, but if you check the name of this channel, is make it make sense. Okay. And when they ban you in a certain way, okay, and they don't want the entire public to know, right? Sometimes you type in the name and you can't even see the name. Okay, but I don't have that name. You're seeing all the videos with that name. Okay, from since I removed that, then they come up with other channels to continue to feed that narrative to the people, because they realized I was only playing the game. I was playing it the other way around. Okay. Someone say I wake with instructions written up in my mind. All of that is part of your awakening that is happening. Just follow the instructions and don't try to understand everything at one time. As time go by, it's a process. Okay? Accepting things in my consciousness, will it manifest it? Yes, it can manifest it if you understand, okay, your subconscious mind. And when I say your subconscious mind, let me simplify it for you. If you just understand the earth, whatever you see in the earth, it brings back. The earth doesn't know the difference, whether it is a corn, whether is it a coconut, whether is it, wheat. Okay, it doesn't know the difference. So whatever seed you sow, once you get the sun and the rain and the nutrients, so there are certain limiting beliefs and certain things you have to clear your mind off if you really want to see certain manifestation take place in your life. That's why it's very important to have a mentor, someone to coach you, someone you can really talk to and break things down more for you. So that's why I offer such a service too. Okay, so you can all time reach out to me. Okay, never be afraid to invest in yourself. Never give more value and money than yourself. Don't ever do that. Okay. The reason why I charge people is because when you pay more attention. Because deep in the subconscious mind, you put some value on money. Okay. But people put too much value on money. That's why they don't want to pay. They think there's such a thing as getting something in this world for free. There's no such a thing. You inhale and exhale and it's not for free. Because you have to give back the plant carbon dioxide when you get the oxygen from the plant. It's always an exchange process taking place. Okay. Everything is definitely an investment. You need to know that. Why did you reject Neville and Abdullah? I've always known that it doesn't make sense and it cannot add up. And since I was a little boy growing up, we used to go to the Goddards and Sons. Okay, business. And up to this day, they still have the biggest business in the island. And I was waiting to get as much information as possible. That is why when Richard Goddard died in Barbados, I think about two years ago, okay, could be about 2 to 3 years ago, I got the article and everything, okay. And the way I got the article and so on is in a very mysterious way, okay, which I can't go into all of that right now, okay. And I put the link when I did the video, and when I went and showed the picture of Joseph Goddard and so on and all of that, and then I see the reaction back and so on, as I stated before, right now I can't even go up in the building to see the picture of Joseph Goddard and the mission statement and so on. And they change the name from Goddards and Sons, and they have them in different names. So what they've been doing from generation to generation, they pass down to other generation. Okay, that's what they've been doing. Okay. Okay, sir. Yeah, then what's the truth behind all of this? Explain to me in short. Why people who look like you always want all of this long talk and explain and explain and explain and explain? If you want me to explain and so on, there's a way how to go about it. You reach out to me and you pay me. Okay? That's it. Okay, I can't be talking here. That's like you trying to take all of my energy from me. Okay? And then you go and say, well, explain everything, you know, I will understand it. I have been studying Neville since 2 years. I can't take on all of that. You understand? You want that kind of service from me, you pay me for it. Okay? It's plain and simple. It has been so confusing, especially since leaving the Christian faith. But now I realize that my higher self was leading me out before I could do it because of the fear of the faith that the faith promotes. Yeah, all of Christianity is built on faith and fair. I mean, okay, all of Christianity is built on fair. Okay, religion, politics, all these things are built on fair. Okay, it's for you to depend on the powers instead of depend on your own power. Okay, so it's built on fair. Your earliest videos accepted Neville. You thought I had accepted Neville because I was playing a game. You understand? You people are always playing a game. Okay, and you have to learn to play the game. There's a book called The Game of Life and a game. You see, all game have rules and you have to know how to play the game. Okay. I remember you told a story then. Why are you angry again? I'm not angry. As I say, people who look like you, woman, you always try to think you could understand melanated people. So when melanated people become more intelligent and be more expressive, you say that they're angry. No, you are afraid of our voices. That's why you always think that we are loud people and so on. No, you are afraid of our voices. You're afraid of truth because your ancestors never tell you the truth. So you grew up in a wall and think that you are privileged based on the color of your skin and so on. But you fail to realize that ancestors passed down a lie to you. Okay? A stolen identity. Okay? I would love to have a mentor who can help me make sense of everything that church told me to shut down and suppress. Well, that's why I'm offering that service. So you can always reach out to me. The link is down below. Okay, you can always reach out to me. Send me an email. Okay? I can mentor you. Okay? This other person said, Neville, let me put certain things in perspective. That's why I like to do these kind of live. Woman, you talk about Neville never charge a nickel. Do not believe that bullshit. You getting that from Iolaka, right? What Iolaka said, he said that Neville said the plate will not be passed tonight. He wasn't taking any gift that particular night. Okay? The first time Neville had his meeting, he charged I think was $6. He makes $6. Okay? $3 he paid for the hall that he was using. And $3 he made in profit. So keep quiet with that kind of bullshit. See, some of you know come to know about this whole Neville thing. You understand? And just talking from what you hear other people say. Okay, long time I don't study and listen Neville from so long. So to say that Neville never used to charge is a lie. That's a damn lie. But Neville never charged a nickel. Same word Iolaka, this Iolaka man used. Not the grandson. Okay? The old man. Okay? Which is the grandfather. Someone here say you are just playing a state, and I can say it's a terrible state. You could say whatever you want to say, okay? As a matter of fact, I'm not gonna entertain you anymore, okay? You know what state you are playing, okay? You know what state you're playing, okay? And you have to play your part. Sheep and goat is animal. All them are animals. But the sheep and the goat have different diet. And sheep don't mate with goat. And goat don't mate with sheep. Okay? That's why me as a melanated man, I would never mix my seed with anyone outside of my race. Period. It's done. Okay? So you don't come with all of your questioning and this and that and that and that and that and telling me about which part I play and all of that. You understand? You don't tell me what to say and what to do. I follow my intuition. I follow my heart. I speak from my heart. I don't play games. Okay? That's why you don't see me making videos about, oh, I manifest this, I manifest that. Look at the material thing. Like the Iolaka guy, he always have some sort of sports car, some sort of house. All you people got offer is illusion. When you fall asleep, where does the house go? Where does the Lamborghini goes? Where does the Rolls Royce goes? All they can offer is illusion. This is the illusionary world. I'm speaking from the real world. Okay? Let me read this other person comment down here. I have had so many experiences, but I asked the church to explain. The church cannot explain shit to you. Okay, that's the blind leading the blind. I have ended up leaving the church. Okay, I was told the wrath of God was on me and I became ill because because you believe it. Because you believe it. And you believe it with certain feeling. Okay? So just as I explained the earth, whatever you say you're going to bring back, it's the same thing with a woman's womb. A woman's womb is a replica of your mind. A woman could bring a child for any man on this planet. Okay? That is why I will never encourage a melanated woman to give her womb, like how Candace Owens is giving her womb for a white man to sew in her womb and breathe in her face. She's a disgrace. I will not listen to she. Okay? That's why they call her Candace Oven. She's baked. She's cooked. Okay? This damn woman still commenting, talking about what? You have changed. You were good in your old videos. I was good. No, I was always this kind of person. I don't want to be good. That's me going to one extreme. Okay? In your mind, there's always things that are positive and things that are negative, and you have to balance it. Okay? I stand for truth. That's why you people normally turn around and call people nice. When you call them nice, you call them stupid. I'm not stupid. I'm being real. Okay? The meaning as above, so below, as within, so without. What you believe will come upon you. Yeah. Okay? That's so true. So my brother who been trapped in church, I'm reaching out to you. I'm telling you, you can reach out to me for mentorship. Let us work together. Okay. Money is not even enough. Okay. To replace the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding that I would be able to transfer to you. Okay? Because once I transfer the energy I have to you and you receive that energy, trust me, your ancestors will start to even contact you in the dream world and your life will change forever. Okay? Yeah. And you mentioned you have to protect your heart from all things, okay? Most people haven't been protecting themselves from the Jesus lie. That's why many of them haven't been protecting themselves from the Neville lie. That's why they get caught up with, because with Neville, I could manifest this, I could get this, I could get that. That's all these people have to offer. They have nothing else. Nothing else. They have no spiritual system. Why do you think in my country, let me say this because I definitely want to close. In my country is where Shakerism originated. That's where you have we call the spiritual Baptist. But it was called Shakerism. Even the slave masters at the time, because they couldn't understand, okay, what the people were doing, which I know, even the people do not understand up to this day. That's why politicians turn around and give them a holiday, a certain holiday, and they accept it, and they do not know even know why they were persecuted from practicing what they were practicing. And you know what they did? They infiltrate Jesus in it, the white idol in it, and give back the people. And the people turn around and say, oh, this is a religion. This religion come from Africa. This is the only true religion. When it's been messed up. It's been messed up. It's been polluted. When you speak the truth, people say, oh, you changed. No. Okay, I'm gonna do another live on my other channel, okay, my Black Mad Guru channel. So I would definitely encourage you to check that out. Okay, because I'm gonna close in a while. And to protect okay, because Christians capture children are the vulnerable to relinquish their own power. Yeah. And it all come from these fake people in Israel, eh? They're behind everything, they're in all the islands, but people can't see them. Okay, they hide themselves. Okay. They run in America, they run in the entire world. Okay. That's why the recent war you have between Israel and Iran, most people don't understand is two religion fighting for world power, for world dominance. Okay. They are competing for your mind, make you a clientele. One want to have in Islam and one want to have in secular Christianity. Okay. But my message would always be to melanated people. It's not for everybody. Okay. It's for melanated people. Okay. I was sent to melanated people. Okay. But the thing is, anyone who comes to me for teaching, I teach them. Okay. But I speak the truth. Okay. I'm not going to back down from speaking the truth. So let me thank you all again for tuning in. It has really been a pleasure. I'll be on another live on my other channel, and I'm definitely encouraging you to tune in. So with that being said, I want to say peace. Love you all. Out.